Good evening and welcome to a later than expected start to Chasing Dissent.
Well.
Indeed, we had an issue.
I was about to say.
We had an issue with our man David.
And it cannot be solved. Unfortunately, his audio has decided to up the wazoo out of here and just be an absolute pile of shiny shite.
It has.
But, you know, we're sending our best. Hopefully he will be in the chat for the show. And before we get into any of it, let's address the elephant in the room. Happy Father's Day to all our fellow fathers out there. I hope you are having a lovely day. I hope your kids have waited on you hand and foot. And I hope you're doing well.
And it's been a busy week. Not necessarily for the news, but for us it's been a busy week because we've been down at Brighton to see our friend Ed off. Which was
see him away with the seagulls. It was a day.
Yeah,
it really was. It was a lovely day. It was really, unfortunately, you know, us all coming together under those circumstances was unfortunate, but it was still absolutely wonderful to be together with everybody, to see you all again. And Johnny and John in the chat said, thank you all. No, well, thank you for extending the invitation to us, and for all of your lovely words and your lovely hospitality, you and Ed's family, so that we could all see him off together. Yeah.
And it was nice to meet everyone, put faces to names and things, even though it was under difficult circumstances. But Ed's still here. He's still with us in spirit.
Yeah, and, he is. There he be. Like a Jedi.
Yeah, due to the wonders of AI. There he is in the background.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's crack on with what's happened this week then. So, apparently Mr. Starmer might be set to resign in the next day or so.
He probably will.
Yeah, do you think so?
Well, I'm still of the opinion that he's not going to go quietly. You're going to find Keir Starmer shaped fingernail sort of rips in the door frame of number 10. But I think at this point, Labour have got their man and they are going to get behind him. And his cabinet members are now coming out and telling him to resign. The minute Andy Burnham got elected, there's obviously a coup going on. And he's the tool maker's son, the ultimate tool himself, is spending the weekend, according to sources, conferring with his wife about whether or not he should resign. See, I'm a little bit more dialed in than you thought I'd be, John.
Yeah. So I don't get this whole Andy Burnham thing. Why? What's it all about? Why is he such the golden boy?
He's uber commie. I mean, if you
just look at, but why is he the golden boy?
His policies, because let's face it, Labour as it stands are not Labour. They are a weird conglomeration of far leftists and centrists who.
Starmer's a commie.
Yeah, Starmer is a commie, but his agenda's not radical enough, man. I mean, look at Burnham's goals. I want to renationalise everything, nationalise it all, take it all, nationalise it. I want big state, is what he said. He actually used that term. I want a big government, big state.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And obviously, anyone that wants any kind of semblance of freedom in their lives really wants a small state. Treat day.
Yeah. So Shalini says she doesn't think he will resign. Do you think he might pull the pin on a general election?
He doesn't have the choice. He can't pull a pin on a general election.
Yeah, he can.
No, he can't.
Apparently he can.
It's a parliamentary. It has to be a parliamentary vote.
Apparently no. Apparently the Prime Minister can. He can go to the King and tell him that he needs a general election. That's my understanding.
I think if he's in any kind of way honourable, that is the right thing to do. And I'll tell you why. Because let's face it, ever since Keir Starmer was elected, he has done nothing in his manifesto. I believe they changed the law. That's why I'm saying I believe he can't pull the plug on a general election.
Johnny and John says I'm right.
But I believe they changed the law, and that's where the 5-year Parliament thing came from.
But that's just
the
that's
Fixed
just a
Term
term.
Parliament Act.
No, it's not a fixed term.
It's called the Fixed Term Parliament
Yes,
Act.
it might be called a fixed term, but you can always call an election before the term is
Yes, but I
finished.
believe-
It means no longer than 5 years.
I'm gonna look this up.
Right. So
because-
the other thing is there is an MP at the moment trying to put a bill through that says if you change your leader, you must have a general election. And
But I
think
do believe you should, because
I think that's a fair point, because if you have if people have been elected, they've picked maybe the party because they wanted that guy to be the prime minister, and people do that. People don't necessarily vote for a party; they vote for personalities. And if the personality is the person you voted for, and then they change them,
Okay, you are right.
thank you.
You are correct. He can. So between 2011 and 2022, prime ministers would have had to pass a vote in the House of Commons to call an early election under the Fixed Term Parliaments Act. This has now been repealed, and the Dissolution of Calling of Parliament Act 2022, which has returned the ability to call elections to royal prerogative. This is how elections were called before 2011. So there was an 11-year period there where what I was saying was true.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The Fixed Term Parliaments Act has been repealed. I wasn't aware it had been repealed. But yeah, I was right, though. Under the Fixed Term Parliaments Act, it would have been the House of Commons.
You were right. That's like if it were 4 years ago.
Yes. Look,
But
and I'm
anyway,
quite happy to be wrong.
That doesn't matter, really, right? Because the problem is, if he calls a general election, Labour's going to lose a shitload of seats, aren't they?
Well, yes, they are. But I think at this point,
They'd still be in power.
But getting back to the point that I was making, even the voting of Labour as it stands was on a certain manifesto. And let's face it, nobody really does what's in their manifesto. But they've gone so far off that beaten track that even without a change of leadership, surely a general election must be required at this point, because they are just putting in agendas that were not in their manifesto, sometimes opposite to what was in their manifesto. And then they're going to, switch to Andy Burnham, who's now making calls to do things like nationalise everything. You can't do this without a general election, surely. Surely you can't.
You know what I think? I think maybe we should have like a check or a balance, if you will, on our politicians who are supposed to be serving us, remember, not the other way around. Maybe every year we should run a referendum as to whether the PM is allowed to remain in position or we need a general election.
Well,
so that's not a general election, it's just a vote. And this vote could be done electronically. It really could, because there's no barrier to it in this day and age.
Okay, well, good night, Journeying John, first and foremost. But secondly, yes, I kind of agree with you in a sense, but you in order to do that, I think you would need to change the entire voting system. Now, hear me out. Under first past the post, we don't vote for a prime minister. We vote for our politicians.
Yeah,
they get a majority in the House, and then the party with the majority in the House decides who is the prime minister.
But we kind of do vote for a prime minister, because that's not what happens, right?
Yeah,
what you just said,
practice.
What you just said isn't what happens, right? Because what happens is the leader of the party becomes a prime minister, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the shadow leader at the moment is Kenny Badenoch, right? So she would become the prime. Yes, yeah, I know, but for the sake of argument, if the Tories won, she would become prime minister automatically, right?
Yeah.
They don't go and pick her. And the same. So, although we don't technically vote for a prime minister, we know who the prime minister is going to be when we vote for a party.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? And what I was saying is people will vote for a personality. You know, like Boris Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why parties win the way they do. They see the Labour, they see the Tory or whatever on the ballot, and they just vote that because of what they're seeing on the telly, because of... It's true. But the checks and balances under the current system couldn't be run that way, because the party would just argue we're first past the post. Yeah, personality was at the helm, but you voted for us. You voted for us in your local constituencies. You voted for me to sit in the seat for your constituency. You voted for that person.
Yeah, well,
if we're going to vote for a head of state, we need to abolish the monarchy. Just saying.
yeah. I can't see any fault with your argument. I quite happily go along with abolish the monarchy.
Keir Starmer or Boris Johnson, David Cameron, Andy Burnham, they're not the head of state.
No, I know technically they're not the head of state, but effectively they are.
Well, yeah, effectively, but they're not. And
yeah, I know.
Therefore, the argument can be made that, yeah, we're changing the prime minister, screw you. It's not ideal, but it can be made.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think we're back to where I've always put my hat, which is the whole freaking system needs ripped out and redone. Yep. It really does.
Well, and we need to be able to vote for a head of state. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying that proportional representation would fix it, because I don't know if it would.
Look, I'm not saying that we abolish the monarchy so that, you know, the way the French did, for example. I'm not suggesting that.
What, by cutting their heads off?
I mean, you said it, John.
I did, yes.
But what I'm saying is, you know, we could leave them as figureheads. There's nothing wrong with them being figureheads. There's nothing. Oh, look, this is the royal family of Britain. These are their palaces. We just don't give them any sort of power anymore. None.
Yeah.
I think that would definitely be the way to do it. And then we could say, right, well, it's time for a president. It's time for a republic, even. I don't know. I've not got the answers, but what I can tell you is the way it's working right now does not work.
So what about the Swiss system with the kind of direct democracy that they have? So they save up the big issues, and then the whole country votes on these big issues once a year. Is that something that's tenable? Well, or is that only going to work with the analytical brain of the Swiss?
The only other thing that we could decide to do is, and this is quite radical, but I actually think it could work. So when a party goes with a manifesto to the public, right?
Yeah.
Say there's 5 major pledges they have to put in them to do with like the economy, immigration, a few other things.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And they get 5 bullet points or more, depends on what sort of the issues are. And every year they have to show we have to put checks and balances on those specific points and say, are you doing this thing that you said you would do when we voted for you? Because if you're not, then off you can fuck.
Yeah, that might work to a degree. Yeah, you know what? We're not gonna fix this, but we're stuck with what we've got at the moment. But I do think that MP that's putting the bill forward, I think that's a sensible thing. If you change your prime minister, you should have to have a general election. I think that's sensible.
I think so, because a change of prime minister obviously comes along with a change of agenda.
Yeah,
and it's the agenda on which we are voting at the end of the day.
So I think the Labour are trying to talk themselves into a general election.
I think
on the basis, yeah. Well, what they're saying is Reform are not ready to fight a general election. The Conservatives are not either. Well, the Conservatives are still a beaten and whipped crowd.
And Restore are going to hand Labour the general election.
Well, I don't even know if they will. I mean, if you go by what happened in Makerfield, you know, the Restore and Reform votes together were nowhere near what Labour gathered.
What was the Restore percentage in Makerfield?
33% or something.
Restore.
Oh, Restore, 2% was it? 3? Something. It wasn't high.
I didn't expect it to be high at all.
It wasn't high.
And you know, all of those people, no offense to them, because I know they support Restore, but all of those people that thought that there was any chance of Restore winning that, they were deluding themselves. There was no chance, especially with the vote splitting with Reform. And let's face it, reform voters that are still reform voters to this day are not going to jump ship to Rupert Lowe now because they believe what Boris Johnson said about him. Not Boris Johnson, sorry, Nigel Farage. Sorry, my head's not in the game right now, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Sorry. Good evening, Emma.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Here's another question then. The biggest lie in V for Vendetta is that the British public would actually stand up to the totalitarian government.
Some of them would.
Well, and there's a slide later on, but a guy in Edinburgh lost it this week, and we'll cover that later. But yeah. So I don't know. I think
everybody's got their breaking point.
Well, I think it can happen. It's happened before, right?
Yeah, like I say,
Maggie did it.
I think everybody's got their breaking point.
And Maggie did it for the poll tax riots.
Yeah, because people don't want to pay extra taxes. And believe me, if Andy Burnham gets into the seat of number 10, your taxes are gonna go through the roof. The man wants to nationalize everything. He wants to nationalize water. He wants to nationalize the electricity. He wants to nationalize gas. He wants to nationalize the railways. Right? This stuff is not cheap to do. This stuff is not cheap to run.
Right, here's a question for you though. Is there not an argument to say that maybe the essential infrastructure of the country shouldn't be in private hands? You know, like things like railways, electricity, energy. Should they really be in private hands?
I'll tell you why the answer to what your question is yes, it really should. They really should be in private hands. And I'll tell you why. Because in private hands, you enter the free market economy. And when you enter the free market economy, you create competition. When you create competition, the real winners are the consumer, because every company is pushing for the highest quality and lowest price because they want your custom.
Yes and no.
If you give one central government that does not care about you and is ideologically driven control of all that, expect rolling blackouts.
Yes and no, right? Because if you put the infrastructure into the hands of private enterprise, right?
Yes.
There is an argument to say that things like energy companies, railway companies, they effectively act as a monopoly, even when they're not. Which means they price fix, but they price fix unnaturally high. Yeah, therefore, people are paying higher prices than they should.
Yes, but if we allow more people to enter the space, if we allow more enterprises, more startups to create competition, that inevitably goes away.
Right, but what we're talking about here is the essential infrastructure of the country. Right?
Yes, and it's already in private hands.
Well, effectively, our electricity infrastructure is in the hands of France.
Yeah,
is that a national security
defense? EDF
is that a national security problem?
Yeah, but EDF are building a brand new, multi-billion-pound nuclear power plant right now. It's near completion, okay, and then they're also building another one here on British soil. So what are we going to do? Say, oh, thanks for spending all that money, EDF. We're just going to take that now.
Yeah, well, that's what other countries do. And they did it to us when we were running their infrastructure for them abroad. Yeah, they took it off us.
I get that, but it just leaves a really sour taste in my mouth.
I know what you're saying, but call me an old lefty, if you will.
I'm going to call you a commie.
Yeah, I'm not a commie, but I think the essential infrastructure of the country should be in public hands, not private.
Yeah, but you say public hands. Mm-hmm. You say public hands. The government is, in effect, private hands in itself, because then they decide.
But yes, the government decides, right? But they still have to be re-elected. And this goes back to reform of government, right? So
Well,
there's a
and
whole
it's
thing
quite-
to
it's
get
quite-
involved in. But
It's
you know,
quite easy to get re-elected when you ban all of the youth from being able to access alternative opinions, isn't it?
yeah, well, is it? Because
And then,
let's face it.
well, they're going to
let's-
lower the voting age to 16,
But hold
and
on.
then they're going to ban all under 16s from
Yeah, but
accessing social media.
It doesn't matter. 14 and 15-year-olds are already saying that they'll never vote for a Labour government because of what's going on. They're already saying that just now. So this is going to backfire massively on Labour. They're
hope
never
so.
going to get re-voted in. And you know, come the next election, they won't have this mass youth vote that you think they're going to get.
Okay, let me just say, my generation, millennials, right? They are gone. They're too far gone. They're not only complacent, they're all in with this bonkers ideology coming from the far left.
Mhm.
All in. They're gone. So what I'm hoping for is the generations that follow us to be a bit more, at least questioning of why we have to believe certain things, do certain things, act certain ways, ban certain speech.
You can't have free speech and ban some of it. You know, you just can't.
No, you can't.
You just can't do it. You know,
I'm a firm believer in free speech in Great Britain. Of course you are, Keir.
Yeah, no, you're
course
not.
you are.
You're not. He isn't, is he? Because you
No.
can't. This is a binary thing, actually, and that might be a bad word these days. But you either believe in free speech or you don't.
Exactly.
There's absolutely no nuance here. You know, if I want to call you a toffee-nosed, white-faced, pasty, you know, whatever, I should be able to do that because the offence isn't me telling you what you are; it's you taking it. You
And
know?
I'm not offended at all because I'm
Exactly.
whiter than Casper the Friendly Fucking Ghost.
You are.
Yes, I am. I'm not offended. Not in the slightest. I might as well be a goddamn albino, right? That's how white I am.
Yeah, but yeah.
Why do you think I'd dye my hair?
Right. Let's move on. Let's move on.
I haven't done that in a while, actually. Christ, look, my roots have gone right through.
Nigel Farage, MP. Whilst the social media ban is well intentioned, it's unlikely to work given the mass adoption of VPNs. Well, they're looking at cramping down, as is Europe, on VPNs as well, which is something that countries like China and Russia do. Yeah, but it doesn't work well either there.
No.
Or well there either. So it will also mean the introduction of digital ID via the back door. Yeah, the real answer here is a handset for children with limited features. No fucking Farage. No, it isn't. You don't need to provide anything. The real answer here is for parents to parent. Let parents parent and you get on with your fucking job, which you were elected to do, and not nanny state us. This is not fucking something that the government should be putting their stupid stinking paw into.
Let me call somebody out. I'm going to call somebody out because I actually responded to someone on X over this. And you know I stay out of it these days, right? Catherine Burblesing. Do you know who she is?
Mm-hmm. Head teacher of the year.
Apparently she's anti-woke and all this bollocks.
Yeah,
she's
she's
Britain's strictest and best headmaster and all of that.
No, she's not. She
tweeted out something along the lines of, loads of parents are really happy about this and support this social media ban, and I think it's a good idea. She goes, and I responded to her with pretty much the exact same sentiment as what you just said. Said, I'm a parent of children under 16, and I don't support this law because I decide what my children can and can't consume. I decide whether or not my children can go on a social media platform. I decide because I'm their parent and it's my job, not the state's.
And why are they banning them? Why are they banning them off YouTube? Which
but once again,
millions of kids.
Why?
Well, because they get alternative information, don't they?
Exactly. That's exactly why they're banning them off YouTube, because YouTube Kids exists, right? YouTube Kids exists. And on YouTube Kids, you can't access anything remotely adult. You can't. So if it was about just, oh, we're going to keep them safe online, they would just say, oh, okay, we won't use YouTube because parents can put their kids' accounts on YouTube Kids.
Yep.
Fuck me.
Right. Moving on. China ran secret police operation. Well, Ben, we have been banging on about this for 4 or 5 years now.
We really have.
And so the
Croydon
mainstream
as well,
media,
and Crawley, and
yeah, Glasgow.
yeah.
So Peter Y 41 and Bill Wynn 66 jail for spying for Beijing. These aren't real names, right? Because Chinese people have 3 names and none of them are Peter or Bill.
No,
These are fucking fake names.
yeah.
2 men tracked down and returned Hong Kong nationals. And so the Hong Kong nationals, the Hong Kongers that live in London, were terrified that this giant embassy with undisclosed basement rooms was going to be built.
Basement rooms, yeah.
Yeah. And I think with freaking good reason. Yeah.
I don't know why we're letting them do this. I don't know why we're letting them do this. Oh, I know, because Keir Starmer's a commie. But other than that, I don't know why we're letting them do this. And let's face it, Andy... Right. Let me just remind you all. We did a series of shows on this channel. I returned for a series of shows before the general election. Remember, John?
Yeah, you did.
Right. We did Toolmaker Bingo. It was all a load of fun.
It was.
And what did I say Keir Starmer was in every single one of those?
A communist.
I said he was a Trotskyist communist.
Yep.
And guess what Keir Starmer is? He is a Trotskyist communist.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
So the answer is very clear. He probably would have been a Maoist. So that is why. I mean, just look at it. Just look at what happens, okay? Just look at what happens. Speech online is spoken that Keir Starmer does not like. And then those people are fast-tracked through the court system and into prison. Fast-tracked.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct. So Emma says that we have Sharia courts. Well, we don't really have Sharia courts.
No, we have Sharia councils.
Yeah, but if you have Sharia courts or whatever you want to call them, it's only among the people that will
believe in that ideology,
are members of that cult, you know? Because you and I would never be taken to a Sharia court.
And we would never subject ourselves to the will of a Sharia court.
No, we wouldn't. Right. So we don't really have Sharia courts. What this is people trying to impose their ideology in a foreign country.
Yeah, so they create enclaves.
Yeah,
they create enclaves, and then they run those enclaves like they are within a society that is not of here.
In fact, there's another cult that does this also with their own police in London.
You mean the Shomrin?
Yes. Or the Showroom or whatever they're called.
Shomrin, I think they are.
Shomrin, yeah. So they aren't police. They're not police. They have no power over you whatsoever.
How do they not get arrested for impersonating police officers? I mean,
because they don't use the word police.
Yeah, but neither did our friend Davey. He didn't use the word
I know.
police.
He said polite. Yeah, I know.
He said peace officer.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And yet he ends up criminalized.
Yes, he does. Yeah, but remember, there are certain cults that get off with things because people have been horrible to them for many, many years.
I may.
There's no two-tier justice in this country.
Oh, there really is. There really is. And I say, right, so when I'm doing my streams and I get into a debate with Jimmy, right, and this happens quite a bit, I will always say, I am part of one of these protected groups. I'm actually part of more than one of these protected groups because I have physical disabilities and autism.
Oh,
right?
God, here we go.
No,
right,
listen.
Okay.
Right? And all of these people on social media, all of these people will get offended on my behalf. Will get offended for me on my behalf. Well, if someone says something mean or makes a joke or hurts my widow fees, they get offended on my behalf and they believe the people that do it should be criminalized. I don't. I
Mhm.
don't believe those people should be criminalized. I think that offense is taken, it's not given.
Yep.
And we are in a very soft society right now.
Yes, we are.
It's such a soft society where they think words are like violence, and they're really not.
What was it they used to say? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, that's completely turned on its head now.
No, by protected, I mean under the law, it would be classed as a hate crime against us. Whereas it would not be classed the same level of thing would not be classed as a hate crime, would not be classed as hate speech. I would say about John, but you know, I think he might be in one of these classes now.
Right, let's move on. Holy crap. President Trump announces arrest of individuals who poured corrosive chemicals into the Lincoln reflecting pool. So now the contractor has to go back, drain it, and repair it. This is on top of cutting and peeling it. So the Lincoln reflective pool is the big pool.
I know what it is.
At the obelisk. I'm just telling for the people, right? So in Washington, D.C. And there seems to be an incredible amount of mainstream investigative journalism done around this Lincoln reflecting pool that isn't done anywhere else. But yeah, so they have now got the National Guard and police hooking people out the pool and arresting them. Quite rightly so, because it seems to be people just don't want to see anything nice if it's associated with the government when the government is headed up by a guy called Trump. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what he does. If you're on the left, it seems that no matter what he does, even if it's right, it's wrong. Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course.
And, you know, we liked Trump the first time around, particularly. I liked him the first time round.
He's lost his mind.
But this time round, he has lost his mind. But the first time round, we did like him. Yeah.
I think like is a strong word.
Wow,
I was
no.
extremely amused by his presidency.
I think the first time round, he made a lot of good decisions and he made things start to move in the right direction. And then, of course, we had the 2020 election, which
was not stolen for legal reasons.
Was very dubious.
Was not stolen in any way, shape, or form. Hold on, let me just read the script to make sure I'm saying it right.
Yeah, say it right.
It was not stolen in any way, shape, or form. The Democrats are absolutely amazing. They are the best people on earth, and they're definitely not threatening me.
But then we had Sleepy Joe for 4 years, and boy, oh boy. If Trump had kept going, I think things might have been different because he would still be kind of at his peak. But now Trump has... He's a new Sleepy Joe, isn't he? Almost. Except he's dangerous. He's more dangerous than Sleepy Joe because he still makes decisions and still bombasts people and still bullies them into... And still threatens people and bullies them into doing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they call this thing, they now call... Air Bribe 1, the new, the new Air Force One. Yeah,
I mean they have been building that since the last Trump presidency.
That's not built. That's not been built by Boeing. Well, it was built by Boeing. This is the one that Qatari Airlines gave them. That's why it's called Air Bribe 1.
I wouldn't take that.
Well, he's taking that. That's his new Air Force One.
I would not take that. Qatari Airlines giving you an Air Force One, a presidential plan. Nope.
Yep.
Well, I'm good, thank you.
I think they did. I think they did some work on it, certainly.
Yeah, but you know, I'd just say, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. You guys enjoyed that plane.
Trump didn't do anything to the reflection pool, Shalini. The Democrats have been sabotaging it to the reflecting pool.
The Democratic supporters.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Democratic supporters. Once again, I've just got another script to read her. The Democrats in no way, shape, or form had anything to do with the damaging of the reflective pool in Washington, D.C. The Democrats are amazing. They're great. And they're still totally not threatening me. Okay.
Right.
We can move on.
Russia is not larger than Belgium and the Netherlands combined, so they cannot
Look,
defeat
Hillary, I
us.
said all you need to say. Now go away.
Russia is not larger than Belgium and the Netherlands combined, so they cannot defeat us, declared NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Someone should give him a globe. Russia is considerably bigger, both in population and, more importantly, in firepower than Belgium and the Netherlands combined. You would be stomped on if it happened. For
sure.
So these guys they keep pushing they keep poking the bear, and it's just a question: how long is it going to be before the bear bites? You know. And here's another one at it. Melts. Russia was never good in history at conducting offensive wars. What, you mean like Germany are?
Very good, yeah.
And who hoisted the red flag on the Berlin Reichstag? Oh, that would have been the Soviet Union.
Why does it
Jesus.
Why does it kind of sound like to me that the EU wants to put Russians in camps?
They want to go to war with Russia, don't they?
Yeah, but it's getting to the point where I'm worried they might sort of start searching through their own home nations to find Russians.
Oh, and start incarcerating them like we did with the Japanese.
Yeah.
During World War II.
It's starting to feel a little bit now. I'm on the side of Russian citizens. I'm also on the side of Ukrainian citizens. I'm on the side of all citizens of all nations that just want to get on, improve their lives, raise their families, and, live a modest to good lifestyle, and then, pass away having enjoyed that and passing something on to the next generation. I'm not on the side of these people, though.
No.
They can do one. They can do one.
They can do one. After losing World War II, Germany lost 25% of all its territory, and 14 million Germans were ethnically cleansed from Eastern Europe. And yet, there hasn't been a single case of Germans hijacking planes, blowing themselves up, or committing terrorist attacks like past. Well, hold on a minute. Do these people not have any fucking conception of history, of what happened in the 60s, 70s, 80s? Have they never heard of the Red Army faction, who actually collaborated with the PLO and hijacked planes? That's fucking nuts. How can anyone say that? How can anyone sit there with a straight face and say Germany's never done that when they have? They have.
Also, Germany did a lot else also.
Yeah, well, yeah, before the end of the war, yeah. Right, let's get off that one, right? The British are desperate to goad Russia into striking them. Why? That's a good question. Why are we doing this? And when I say we, I don't mean the people of the UK.
Dear Starmer.
I mean the government. This is our government, and they're completely going against our wishes. Why are they doing this?
We'll talk about John's self-implosion a bit later, Emma. Oh, we will.
But why are they doing it? I mean, really, this is an existential threat to the UK, because let's face it.
Of course!
Putin doesn't even need to use nuclear weapons anymore, because those are Reshnik things. Drop one of them, and I hate to say this, Shalini, but those two big Amazon data centers in London are a fucking ideal target to drop an Reshnik on.
Of course
they really are.
Of course they are. I mean, let's face it. Basically, the entire internet, anything worth a damn, is hosted by AWS, Amazon Web Services now. So, yeah, of course. Let's move on.
Moving on. Trump declared the EU should pay $350 billion for the weapons that Biden donated to Ukraine. US President said Biden gave Ukraine a lot. $350 billion is a lot. And the Europeans should have paid for it. Is. Why should the Europeans pay for it? Why shouldn't Ukraine pay for it?
Well, I'll tell you why the Europeans should pay for it. Because the Ukrainians should have listened, right? They should have listened to... They should have listened. And the Europeans are the ones that are continuing to push Ukraine to elongate this war, not have some kind of peace, keep feeding them weapons, keep, So, of course, I actually, for once in this presidency, I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him.
So maybe the Europeans should have paid for it, but that wasn't the plan because nobody asked them to pay for it. So basically, Biden just gave $350 billion to Ukraine.
Strip that out of the US economy, and before people say, it wasn't part of the economy, it's just weapons. The weapons manufacturers are private infrastructure, which means that was money that was cycling through the economy that has been ripped away.
Yeah. Oh, and see, this is the problem with private infrastructure. It takes money out of the economy, not putting it in.
I think they should pay me $100 million also, Beats. I think that would be a good use of the money.
Yeah.
I'd stop being sober if I got paid $100 million and see how quickly I could drink it.
So, and I'm I'm going to quote
Joking,
here.
by the way.
This is a quote. Okay, this is the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warning Trump against Zelensky before he met him the first time. I've dealt with this little fucker. He's tricky. He's like the special needs child for the Europeans, and he's acting like Mr. Bean on crack. Now,
if that's real.
Yes, it's fucking real. So when your fucking Treasury Secretary tells you that Zelensky is that, maybe you should have taken notice.
Beats, I have no idea what you're talking about, mate. I've got no idea what you're talking about. I would do no such thing.
Yeah, fucking hell. Right, train crash. High-speed East Midlands Railway train collided with a commuter train near Bedford. Driver of the fast train died.
For someone who did not research the news this week, I'm knowing quite a lot of this.
Yeah. Okay. So, what got me when this happened was people were jumping onto Twitter going, "Oh, I can guess who was driving it. I can guess who was in control of the site."
Well, it was an old boy, wasn't it?
It was an old white guy.
He was an old boy.
Called Sean something, and he died.
Yeah.
He was 60.
Yeah.
And he died, which is a shame. It doesn't look, I mean, when you look at it, it doesn't look that high speed of collision.
No. But it looks like he was sitting in a very inconvenient place.
Yeah, with the front of his train because he was driving it.
Yeah, and it's obviously crumpled and imploded.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But then we get all the fucking retards, right?
I think that's a good way to describe them.
We get all the retards going, why don't we have seatbelts on trains? This is why I drive and don't go on the railways. And it's like, every other country has a great, amazing train service. And I'm like, hold on a minute.
Have you seen how many train crashes in America there are? And they haven't even got a large rail network. 12,000 derailments every year. Remember? 12,000 derailments every year in America. Mm-hmm. And they don't even have...
Amazing.
But no, at the end of the day, is it statistically safer to travel by rail than it is to drive?
Oh, yes. Massively so.
Yeah. And quite frankly, right, what probably caused this is, I'm just spitballing here, and I'm just surmising, but I think it was probably... He's an old boy, he's tired, he's probably close to retirement, he's had a little lapse in judgment, a little mistake has caused this.
Well, I'm not sure. I think it might have been a signalling fault. I wouldn't be too quick to blame the driver, because a lot of these things are, even if the driver falls asleep, the train will put the brakes on.
Yeah, but I think there was probably an element of human error.
And I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment because I don't have the information to make up. So anything I said would be an assumption.
There would be. This is completely an assumption.
So Shalene says no, Ben. It's signals or mechanical.
But we shall have to wait for a...
Well, let's wait and see what the real accident investigation board says. Yeah,
because they wouldn't have released anything like that just yet.
No,
they wouldn't have.
Right. Shall we move to Edinburgh? Okay, so 36-year-old, well, actually 35, I believe. 35-year-old white Scottish man is being investigated by counter-terrorism police after 5 people were stabbed in Edinburgh. He said after his arrest, "I'm protecting the country from those," and I'm quoting, "from those fucking Muslim bastards raping our young daughters." This guy's obviously reached the end of his tether. I said at the beginning of the week, right, and I'm not saying this is it, but what I said at the beginning of the week is there is a storm coming, and it will happen because people will reach their breaking points. And this guy's maybe gone off early, but this is what's going to happen. There will be a civil war at some point.
I'm remiss to say that this is the way. I don't think this is the way.
I'm not saying it is the way.
But what I will do is I'm going to call out Keir Starmer again.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm going to call out Keir Starmer is because he has specifically, I believe today, it was either last night or today, he has specifically tweeted about this incident, calling on people to be kept safe, saying it's appalling, it's disgusting, he'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
That's his favourite phrase, isn't it?
Now, when Manchester Arena gets blown up, we're just told to, let it go, don't look back in anger, all of that stuff. Now, I'm seeing a slight contrast and another instance of two-tiering here. Now, I'm not saying that the people that were victims of this and other people who are victims, or at least of the religion of the people who are victims of this, should be angry. They should be angry. But they should be angry at that specific offender for doing what he did for the reasons that he did it.
Yeah. Well said, Ben. Well said. So, Scottish man stabbed 5 Muslims in a suspected imagine that. Anti-Muslim hate crime attack in Edinburgh. Yeah, well, okay. If it had been the other way round, I would expect to see the same fucking headlines.
No, what you would see is mentally ill man goes on rampage.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
Not being looked at as terrorism. And that's what we are repeatedly seeing in these incidents now.
Two-tier justice system in this country.
They hide behind the shield, the government hide behind the shield of mental illness and refuse to have it investigated as terrorism because they know that people will have a breaking point, they will snap eventually, and it will look another terrorist attack. So they say, right, this person was mentally ill. Didn't someone, was it in France, where a man took out a knife and started stabbing children in a play park?
Yeah, it was.
Right? And it was an Islamic, he was screaming Allahu Akbar while he was doing it. Yeah. And yet they took him, they put him in a mental facility, and they said it was a mental health incident.
Well, look at the guy who flung the fucking kid into the crocodile pen.
No, he was a white man.
Yeah, but he's in care. He was out with 2 carers who were both female, and he was apparently quite a big guy and prone to violence. Okay. Why wasn't he properly supervised?
He should well have been properly supervised.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what colour you are.
No.
You're mentally ill, right?
Yeah, but what I don't like...
Don't call people mentally ill if they're not mentally ill just because they're a different colour.
Same thing. Was it Paris Gare du Nord train station? There was a knife attack. Yeah. Screaming the same chants, and once again they said it was a mental illness.
Yeah. So that guy must be mentally ill as well, but they've not mentioned it.
Oh no, it's being investigated by anti-terror police.
Yeah.
Because of course it is, because it's another example of this two-tier thing that they are desperate to claim does not exist, but clearly to anybody with half of a brain cell exists.
Moving on, the fix everything button is literally just to arrest criminals and keep them in jail. And we know this. We know this is how to fix crime, right? Because this is El Salvador monthly homicides, and it went from in 2015 from 900 a day or whatever it was, or a month or whatever, to almost 0 now, because they just lock people up and just kept them locked up. If you were a bad guy, you got locked up, and you stayed locked up. And look at El Salvador now. Probably one of the safest countries to go to.
I mean, I can't say that for sure, but the
Well, your chances of getting murdered there are probably slimmer than getting murdered here.
Yeah, I mean that the odds of that happening have starkly risen over the past good couple of decades, I would say.
And we saw the exact same thing happen here and in New York City, because remember Rudy Giuliani, when he became mayor, he went with the zero tolerance policy.
Up those streets.
Zero tolerance policy. So even if you just threw a stone at a window and broke it, you got prosecuted for it. Nobody got let off. Everybody got hammered. You knew you were going to get hammered, and crime in New York City plummeted.
What did the Democrats do to him eventually? They found a way to try and throw him in jail.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
And then the same thing happened here, because in the 80s, crime was rampant here in the 80s. I know because I was in the police, and we were getting told to call, if somebody broke into a shed, it's technically a housebreaking, right? But, because of the way the law is worded, but we were told to change that to opening locked fast places because there was too many housebreakings. So, we were manipulating the stats because there were way too many crimes happening. Yeah, and we were getting sent. I mean, when we went on the bike shift, we were getting sent to call after call after call. You were never, you were never off. You were never like kicking your heels looking for something to do. It was so busy, and then we started implementing the New York system of zero tolerance, and boy, it made a massive difference. Because once you start locking people up, and they realise that every time they move out of line, they're going to get locked up. They stop being bad. They really do.
I mean, it's not foolproof, but it will certainly improve things. Now, before
it does.
we move on to anything else, I would like to actually offer an apology to the chat. That this has not been as fun or as cheery as it normally would be. Yeah, I've tried to, raise the levity and chuck in some funny bits and stuff like that. But this week is so bleak. The news is just so bleak. And then we've come off of personal tragedy as well. And so, yeah, all I can do is apologize. But what I can say is this, and most people don't know this yet, but John, I did tell you the other night, didn't I?
I'll make you full screen, mate. I'll make you full screen.
You know what I'm going to say, John?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
I'm back, baby. Sunday nights, every Sunday night, I will be back on this show. We're going to make it fun. We're going to make it funny.
Hopefully we'll have David.
Have a good time.
Hopefully we'll have David and other guests as well. But because David's only not here tonight because of a technical issue, and we are missing him because, especially the geopolitical stuff at the start, he's pretty damn hot on that kind of stuff, and we miss his input. We really do. Right, moving on. Now, I might get some hate here, right? But, I'm a big boy, I can take it. So, this is Jeremy Clarkson, who was reported to have prostate cancer this week.
Yes.
And came out on these Clarkson's Farm thing, telling people about it. I don't watch Clarkson's Farm. I'll be honest, I'm not a great fan of Jeremy Clarkson. I think he's a bit of a wanker. But fair play to him. If he's ill, he's ill. But what I don't like is Jeremy Clarkson was a big proponent of a certain other jab, right? But what I didn't like here is this video that this is a clip from has him saying, yes, I'm not dead because I got tested and they caught it. Even though it's an aggressive prostate cancer, they caught it very early, and I'm hopefully going to be cured and whatever. And you need to go and get tested too, and do blah 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 blah. And I think this is all like, you know what I mean? Too big. It's like a setup. I don't like it. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel genuine to me.
I'm I'm gonna sort of respectfully disagree.
No, that's fine. That's fine, mate.
I do.
I
think
don't mind being wrong, but
he's obviously he's known a long time.
yeah,
So far more would have happened behind the scenes that we don't know of yet.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, people listen to Jeremy Clarkson's, and so if he tells them to go and get their, their butthole tested, they probably will.
But it's
And
not
so
even
I
a,
say
it's
that-
not even a fingering these days. It's a blood test.
Oh well, I tell you, I've had the finger up there a few times by the GP. I've had a camera up there as well.
Yeah, okay.
It is what it is, but no, it's a good message, and it's a good message to send regardless. And I think men should go and get themselves tested, same as women with their boobas. They should go and get them tested also.
Well, see, well, that's a whole different thing, and it's probably something I really don't want to get into on this kind of platform.
Right.
But there's a whole thing about that's maybe not as straightforward as you think.
Okay, as I say, we don't want to go and get into that.
Yeah, we don't want to get into it because we're not medical experts and we're not offering medical advice.
DW, Friday nights are a thing. I'm just going to say that, okay, mate? Friday nights are a thing. So make of that.
I think Emma knows where I'm coming
also,
from.
I do need to add a little caveat, a little asterisk to my announcement.
Oh, geez, here we go.
If I am away filming for my other channel, I will obviously give advance notice that I am doing that, so people will know. But other than that, yes, I will do Sunday nights.
So Chasing Dissent is back on Sundays. Phil Bunner. Right, moving on. Phil Bunner. We have taken the steps to ban your children from watching YouTube, but if you would like to sign them up to be chemically castrated, go right ahead. The NHS will recruit children as young as 11 for the puberty blockers trial set to begin in August. Now, you know what? I have no problem with people deciding to be whatever they want to be once they are adults.
Once they are able to actually comprehend the decisions in which they're going to make.
Big problem with kids making life-changing decisions that cannot be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you go down this route, you can't reverse it at a later date. You can't go, oh, I wish I hadn't taken them. I'll just take the drugs to reverse it. There's no backsies here. So 11-year-olds can't go on social media, but they can make life-changing decisions. This doesn't compute. It just does not compute.
Look, an 11-year-old can't buy alcohol, can't smoke, can't consent to, sexual things, cannot vote, cannot do any of these things. They should not be allowed to make decisions like this that they simply do not have the cognitive capacity to comprehend. As you said, if they are at the age of 18 years old and they are certain they have been given all of the information and they want to go ahead and do this to their own bodies, have at it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, fair play. Ellen Page goes and does what she did to become Elliot Page or whatever. Fine. Old enough to make their own decisions, right?
Absolutely.
They can live with it. They're big enough. They have to take it on the chin now, right?
Absolutely.
At 11? No. Just no. It's not right.
Like I said, it all boils down to cognitive capacity. They do not have the level of understanding required to make a decision like this, regardless of whether or not, because let's face it, a lot of these doctors will come along and they'll say this is completely reversible, right? They will, because that is but that's the spiel you get from the lobby. Okay,
but it's not reversible. If you use puberty blockers, you can't then go through puberty later on. Your body doesn't work like that.
I don't know enough to say that.
Again, not medical advice, but that's what we understand, or that's what I certainly understand. And Emma says it's medical experiments, and yeah, well, it is if it's a trial. It is effectively an experiment.
It's not even effectively an experiment. A trial is absolutely an experiment. It's a trial.
So Patrick says, but first they must undergo counselling. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Patrick.
Right.
It does damage them. Yeah. Right, let's move on. A man who took part in the Hanley riots has been spared jail despite the fact he pleaded guilty to throwing rocks at the police and inciting violence.
Right.
Forget his name is Mohammed Iqbal, it doesn't matter. His defense, he has, or it's not defense, it's mitigation, right? Because he's already pled guilty, so he's nothing to defend here. He said he's guilty. So there's no defense. This is mitigation. So in mitigation, he says he has children.
Did
7
Lucy
children.
Connolly have children, regardless of whether or not I support Lucy Connolly.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't matter. He
Doesn't
has children. He has children.
Doesn't matter. You know, there are people that will go, "Oh, Lucy Connolly didn't go to jail. It's all fake and stuff like that." I don't care.
Of course she did.
Look, but still,
The whole
I
thing's
don't
ridiculous.
care. What I care about is the sentence that was given. The sentence that was given was not mitigated due to children, and she didn't even go and throw rocks.
She didn't even go out the door.
She didn't go out the door.
And she didn't incite violence. If you actually read what she said. But, there's no point in going into this.
I mean,
this guy has pled guilty. So remember, this guy has pled guilty to throwing rocks at the police and inciting violence. So he's pled guilty. He said, yes, I did that. And they've let him off jail, even though he was at a riot. Why? That's two-tier justice.
Absolutely,
it's not two-tier policing, it's two-tier justice. Because
it's a two-tier society, John.
Yeah.
And so a two-tier society involves 2 tiers of all of the upper echelons of government.
Well, no, because in this case, the police have done their job. They've put him forward for trial or whatever, and he's pled guilty, and it's a justice system that are two-tier here. And when you look at the amount of people that get arrested, both on the left and the right, way, way, way more people get arrested on the left, which would tend to indicate they are more violent.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, hundreds more people get arrested on the left. But when it comes to being prosecuted, when it comes to being sent to jail, it tends to be the people on the right that go to jail more often.
Well, what I see...
That's two-tier justice.
But what my eyes see is far left agitators are generally the ones that will start violence, even in a right-wing protest, so to speak. Right,
yeah.
Far left agitators will turn up in their black masks and they'll start the violence and they'll kick people. They'll rile up the crowd that's against them and they'll kick them off. And it's such a tough one because I think the far right are assholes and I think the far left are assholes. I think they're the two cheeks of the same arse.
I don't call them the far left. I prefer to call them the extreme left. Because they are extremists.
They're certainly extremists.
And it differentiates.
The genuine far right are extremists also.
Yeah, well, they are, but it differentiates between the far right and extremists. But the far right, many times these days, are actually middle of the road.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. A massive, and this has come up before, but. It's come up again, and I think it's worth pointing out. A massive India H-1B visa fraud ring has just been busted. Nearly 90% of India's visa applications contain fraudulent information. 100,000 counterfeit certificates have been seized.
Oh.
Wow.
The H-1B users are scamming. What a shock.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Indians
isn't this why
scamming.
Trump banned the H-1B?
Yeah. Well, that was because all the degrees were fake.
Well, no, he didn't ban it. He simply said that if you're on a H-1B visa, you have to be earning a certain amount, didn't he?
That was when we found out all the degrees were fake as well.
Look, of course immigration fraud is happening into the United States. Everybody wants to live there.
But it's happening here as well, because something like 50% of the Indian nurses that come here aren't qualified.
Are they here on H-1Bs?
Well, you don't have H-1Bs in this country, but they are here. They are here as, immigrant professional workers.
Yeah.
And they're not qualified. but they've
No,
got the
that's fair
fake
enough.
qualifications.
That's fair enough.
It's scary. Anyway,
I mean, I can't attest to that figure, but otherwise,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Henry Nowak's murderer, Vikram Digwa, is said to be cowering in his cell after being moved to a Monster Mansion. I didn't know this was called this.
Yeah, I knew that.
Where Ian Huntley was killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's now been moved to HMB Franklin. That's it kind of works. Franklin Monster Mansion in County Durham, known as Monster Mansion, where he's said to be cowering in his cell under 24/7 guard after threats on his life.
I'm sorry, I'm not
Shame.
upset. I'm not upset, and yeah, maybe I should, you know.
So, you know how people asking for reparations for slavery, for stuff that happened 200 years ago, and despite the fact
who do I owe money to?
Yeah, yeah, but despite the fact that the UK effectively paid the slavers off to stop slavery, right? So we paid the and we only stopped paying that debt to the slavers in something like 2015.
Yeah.
And I've got videos about it. You can have a look at the channel and you can see exactly when we paid off. You looking for the East India and the
East India Trading Company, wasn't
it? And the West Indies trading companies. You're looking at them. The West Indies one was really big in Glasgow, and the Far East Trading Company was down in the East India Trading Company was down in London. Yeah, and that was how the police came about as well. So you'll either find it on this channel or you'll find it on the Critical-Reality channel. Right. And they're worth a watch. They're not long, but they're informative. But yeah.
Anyway.
So to get to the point.
The point, yes.
African refugees heading to Europe got caught by Arabs in Libya and are now waiting to be sold as slaves to Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
Let me just call this as I see it, and people are probably not like me for saying this, right? But that's true. In maybe not that, I don't know, but what is true is that in the Middle East, in many countries in the Middle East, black people especially are sold into slavery. Today, to this day, there are slave markets, and we see people in the West, in here in the UK even, protesting for things that simply aren't happening here, or protesting against things that simply aren't happening here. And I'm sorry, I'm not responsible for things that happened in the past that somebody that looked like me may have done. I didn't do those things. But those things are happening to people that look like you right now.
So yeah.
Right now.
So Patrick,
and maybe we should all come together and say, oi, Qatar, other places, fucking stop that.
So Patrick Edwards says slavery is still a thing, and yes, it is. And remember, when we go back in time, 800,000 slaves, I think, were shipped across the Atlantic to.
But when we go to today, there are people.
Well, hold on. Can I finish my point? Right. So 800,000 slaves were shipped across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, the Americas. 17 million during the same period were shipped to the Middle East.
Yes, and Emma makes a good point that whites were also saying, the Barbary Coast pirates came to, European places and raided the villages, raided the fishing villages and things like that and took white slaves. Of course they did. There
were more white people in slavery in that condition than we ever had as black slaves.
I believe that figure. Well, I haven't given an actual figure, but I believe that comparison is accurate. But right now, there are predominantly black people being sold as slaves in the Middle East right now, and I think we should take that energy that groups like Black Lives Matter have and point it in that direction.
Yeah.
Where it's happening right now. And
exactly.
I would be right alongside them.
Yeah.
Right alongside
if you were
them.
actually addressing the problem rather than what happened in the past.
Getting back to a point that I made, I saw a video earlier this week, right? somewhere up north, I think it was, a McDonald's was discovered to have 20 in the UK was discovered to have over 20 modern day slaves working in it that were shipped over from Eastern Europe. Their passports were stolen. They were forced to live in houses together.
Yeah.
And a franchise of McDonald's and a bread packaging and facility, all in this little town. I forget exactly where it was, but look this up. This is absolutely true.
Wasn't Corby, was it? No. Anyway, moving on. Right, let's move on.
I'm going to look this up right now because I know it's true.
Joe Rogan says he's now convinced that our reality is a simulation. This world seems more and more like it's not real, like it's a simulation.
Yeah.
The ultimate progression of technology is to transcend reality and become physical life. I'm beginning to think that Joe Rogan might be overdoing the wacky backy.
You know, I was about to say, Joe Rogan is constantly high. He is constantly high.
Yeah.
Even Shalini says, "Oh, whatever, Rogan, stop smoking weed for fuck's sake." Okay, so it was in Cambridgeshire. Okay, couple have been jailed for their part in a modern slavery operation that stole thousands of pounds from a man, and more than one, but one was able to report it to the police.
Well, I'm just going to grab another beer. You keep talking.
Working at a McDonald's restaurant in Cambridgeshire. Jan Drevenak, 39, befriended the man who had recently been made redundant in the Czech Republic in 2017. Drevenak told the man, who was in his 40s, he had a family living in the UK and could easily arrange a regular work and accommodation. He organised transport for the victim on agreement that he would pay him back out of his wages once he arrived in the UK. What really happened was Drevenak drove the victim to and from work each day, where he regularly did 12-hour shifts, many of them, by the way. However, Drevenak was unreliable, meaning the victim was often picked up late or not collected at all after his shifts. The man's wages were paid into a bank account controlled by Drevenak's partner, Monica Olahova. From March until 2018, the victim earned more than £12,000 and was given out of that £90 by the couple. When he asked for more money, he told his salary was paying off transport costs and debts for food and accommodation. Drevenak controlled the man's passport and ID card, but the victim also reporting being assaulted by him on more than one occasion. In October 2018, the victim decided to leave the property and moved in with Drevenak's brother, who lives closer to the McDonald's. The court heard how Drevenak received £1,000 for his brother due to the change in circumstances, and the victim's wages stopped going into Olahova's account. Police received information that the workers at the restaurant were all being exploited in October 2019, and specialist officers spoke to the victims.
I haven't had a bishop's finger for a long time.
They were only jailed this week.
Yeah, that's shocking. And it goes on. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these Turkish barbers and kebab houses and things are running this kind of racket as well.
And ladies and gentlemen, Jan Drevenak.
Modern
day slaver.
Right, moving on. They're under Core, who has repeatedly claimed that people are spreading false narratives about the levels of crime in London, has had their phone stolen in London.
And then went on to say, I never said that crime wasn't bad in London. And then got repeatedly given her own tweets back at her, where she says, oh, this woman is an absolute nutcase. And she's now talking about going into politics. And I think it's the right place for her.
She's mentally ill.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll do fine in politics.
She'll do just fine in politics.
She give me the next 10 milliband. Right. Here we go. Right, this was a cracker. Italy is about to generate electricity from a full-scale nuclear reactor that has zero nuclear fuel inside it. Well, that's the wrong headline straight away. So the ENEA Brasimone Research Centre Nucleo has installed a 155-ton reactor vessel filled with molten lead. Instead of uranium, it uses electric heaters to melt the lead, right? Now, it's a test. using lead as a cooling mechanism instead of using pressurized water. You can use lead at atmospheric pressure because it's not gonna flash boil, right? So you don't need to keep it under pressure. It's got high thermal mass and it's less likely to allow runaways and things like that. So they're testing it out as a suitable cooling fluid for nuclear energy. Yeah. And then everybody goes, this is just using electricity to create electricity. And they are retarded. They don't fucking read the actual article before they start making their comments. People are retarded. Why do they do this? I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine, John.
Right, let's move on to the World Cup because there are some funny things on it. Okay.
I've literally watched nothing about the World Cup. I know nothing.
I've watched nothing either.
No, I care.
The only part of the World Cup I saw was in the pub the other night with Slaney and Vaughan. But Paraguayan footballer Matias Galarza stole the referee's watch that fell off in the 45th minute of the match. So the footage
sure he didn't just pick it up for him, mate? Just didn't pick it up for him.
He did pick it up, but what you see here is him putting it on his own wrist and full view of the entire world.
Just holding it for you, mate. Just holding it for you.
No, he actually put it on and he looked about and thought, yeah, I've got a new watch.
Jesus Christ.
Now, I'm not saying the English team aren't that bright. Okay, I'm not saying that. But Sol Campbell said, I'd have been England captain if I wasn't black. And here he is, stood behind Paul Ince, a black man who's wearing the captain's armband. So is he just not black enough or what? I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
30, 20, restart.
I've got no answer.
There's no answer. There is no answer to that one. Yeah,
I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
30,
He'll give it again.
Restart.
Right, moving on. Canada citizens are furious over their FIFA World Cup opening ceremony being in Indian. I've seen this. It's in fucking Indian. It's Bollywood. Right. And this is meant to represent Canada.
What?
They've gone full retard.
30, 20, restart.
What?
The Canadian opening ceremony for the World Cup is in fucking Bollywood, India, by the looks of things. They sang.
What?
They sang in foreign languages. They didn't fucking use English once.
I mean, they could have sung in French. That would have been acceptable.
No, they didn't use French.
I was saying they could have.
It was in Hindi.
If they'd sung in French, that would have kind of been acceptable. You know?
Yes, it would have been in Canada, but no, this is just freaking nuts.
J'adore Canada.
Right, here we go, Ben. A lot to unpack here, mate. Okay.
Oh, God.
So, married teacher allegedly wore a sweatshirt with a religious message, something like something about Jesus is good or something like that, while having sex with a student before being blackmailed to give kids higher grades after they found her OnlyFans. So, Maris Nichols, age 25, a married teacher with a child at Alexander High School in Douglasville, Georgia. So apparently had sex with one of the pupils in a cupboard at school. And then they found her OnlyFans page and started blackmailing her to give them better grades, while she also had sex with multiple of them, some of them as young as 15.
This is an epidemic now, isn't it?
What is it with American teachers?
This is an epidemic.
Yeah. What is going on?
It's female teachers in America. I mean, we've had a couple here.
Yeah.
This seems to be a mostly American phenomena.
But She's married with kids. For fuck's sake. That's just nuts.
I don't know.
That's just weird. I find it incredibly weird, mate. I really do.
I don't know.
Here's one for you. Indian theme park.
All right. Is this AI though?
It's not. The place is fucking rammed, and there's all these machines going off left, right, and centre. There's like 3 or 4 big wheels, you know.
Yeah.
See these things spinning round? They're rammed. They're right close together, and they're all fucking. And the place is just rammed. It is. Her ominous Bosch's vision of hell lives on in this Indian theme park.
Vaughn says he wishes he went to school in the US.
Hi, Vaughn.
Jesus Christ. I mean, this has been going on for so long now. Even South Park did an episode many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Called Mrs. Teacher Bangs a Boy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's baby Ike, Kyle's little baby brother.
Yeah.
That she's having an affair with. And every time the family report it to the police, they say who it is. They're like, a teacher's having sex with a student. And they're like, who is this scumbag? Who is he? And then they tell them it's the woman, and they just look at the families and go, nice. Nice.
That's just not right. Right, last slide. Ford's new car bears a startling resemblance to Roland Rat. It doesn't.
Looks like Keir Starmer, doesn't it?
The new Ford Roland Rat. Yeah, that's a bit off-putting, actually, staring at you.
I agree with you. It's not funny, Emma, right? But in the context of the episode, it's they're using it as a vehicle to show you how it's different, how it's differently treated, right? It's differently treated if it's a woman or if it's a man.
Yeah, of course.
And you're using it as a vehicle to say that, and it's only now, really, that we're seeing these women be prosecuted for it. We're not really. It's. I think it's been going on a lot longer than we've been seeing. A lot longer.
Yeah, because
now we're seeing these women prosecuted.
You know, way back in the day, kids or young boys were probably less likely to say anything about it.
Of course.
And people were less likely to pay them attention, you know? Because, let's face it, what is a young male but a horn dog on fucking legs?
Of course. It's true. And quite frankly, right, like I said, I think South Park did a great job with that episode because, like I said, they used comedy to show just how ridiculous the double standard is.
Yeah. And
it works really, really well in that context. It is funny, but it is also showing a very, very serious message. And hopefully it was things like that sort of pushed the authorities into going, maybe we are looking at this a bit wrong. Maybe people are going to start calling us out for it, and maybe we should do something about it. Because, as I say, it's only in recent years are we really seeing anything done about it.
Yeah. Right. I think that's been a good episode, despite the fact that we lost David early on.
And like I said, also, I'm really sorry it hasn't been as funny as it normally would be. But hopefully next week it's much more lighthearted.
Well, I have more time to gather material as well.
Yeah, and obviously we've had a very busy week. I want to also just remember our good friend Ed once more, who was a well-educated and well-researched man. He never did a fucking soul any harm. He didn't.
He didn't.
And my God, do his family love him. He was so loved and he was so treasured by his family. And to members of his family, if you ever watch this or any other of our episodes, you've told us you've watched some of the podcasts, and we are very sorry and we are very glad that we were able to be with you in Brighton.
Yeah, and his brother in particular is such a lovely guy.
Oh yeah.
He really is.
Brother was a lovely guy. His mother was lovely.
What did I say at the funeral? I know I stood up and said something,
You
but
did. You just said, we did the podcast together.
yeah.
And I ended up interjecting into your speech saying I ended
Well,
up
yeah,
having to
you would.
referee you.
You would, but
But it was to
Ed-
make people giggle, and it worked.
yeah. Ed was a nice guy, and he kept me on the straight and narrow when it came to the rabbit holes, and I kept him on the straight and narrow as well when it came to the rabbit holes. I think Ed was a very tolerant man as well. He's certainly more tolerant than I am.
Yes, he had to be when he look. He didn't have the ability to sort of cut through you like I do, and that's
I'm
fine.
not sure that you do, but anyway.
I mean, I certainly know better how to handle you, but that's because I've been working with you a lot longer.
Yeah.
You know how to handle me. You just dangle something shiny in front of me. I'll be alright. I'll be alright.
It's shady. Sugar.
Not anymore.
Hey, what are you drinking tonight, Ben? Is that sugar-free Coke? Is that
Since
just
the
a
end
treat?
of February, I have
A
lost
liter
over
of sugar.
2 stone.
Yeah. What was it you had the other day in the pub? 3 pints of
Actually, I only had 2. I didn't drink the third one.
right. 2 pints of Coke and 2 Red Bulls on a glass.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, that was good.
I will be playing his song. I'll play his song, Emma.
But no,
we'll
and
play out with his
before
song.
we do play out, right?
Yeah.
One of the other reasons that I'm coming back on a mostly weekly basis is to jibe at this man here to get himself in a good, healthy.
Oh yeah, I know.
place.
I put on a lot of weight. I do need to lose weight.
No, and I'm not I was cracking jokes, and so was Vaughan, and so was David. We were cracking jokes at John on Wednesday all day, but it was from a place of love, not from a place.
No,
of malice.
I appreciate that, and you know what? I realise it as well.
Because we don't want yours to be the next one. You know
fuck
what I mean? But it's
Fuck
true.
you. Well,
It's
who's
true,
it
John.
going to be then? I'm the oldest.
Well,
It should
probably
be
be me. But
Yeah, probably actually.
But that's not the point. The point of the matter is that in the road you're currently going down, you're not gonna be with us as long as you could be.
No, I'm back off the booze come tomorrow, and I'm going back onto my carnivore diet. You know that works.
But yeah, I've been basically been doing that.
That's basically
for
what
3
you
months.
eat anyway. Even when you're on sugar, you eat carnivore. It's just the fact that you have the sugar that fucks you up.
Well, yeah, because I have never eaten as much as I've eaten in the last 3 months, and I'm now at the lowest weight I've been since my early 20s.
Yeah. So I'm going back on my diet. I've already lost at least 10 pounds, and I've kept that off. I actually didn't put any weight on when I was down in Brighton.
Good. No,
Which is
yeah.
good.
Honestly speaking, like you've got a dodgy ticker.
Yeah.
We all know this, right? You've got a dodgy ticker, and you don't need to put any more strain on it, mate.
Yeah, I know. And Vaughn says you put on a few pounds, and he moves so slow. I was timing him with a calendar. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was. But
And then what's the first thing, Vaughan? I'm actually gonna criticise you on this one, Vaughan, because we got to that little cafe, and the first thing you and John did together and encouraged each other and pushed each other on was, oh, let's have one of them bloody car-sized slabs of cake to share.
Yes, and that's critical. That's the critical point. we shared it. We halved it. We only had half of what we could have. We could have had one each, but we didn't.
You only ate a Mini Cooper's worth of cake each.
Exactly.
Rather than a PT Cruiser.
And it was damn decent. It was damn decent, actually. But yeah, I'm actually since I've been down in Brighton, I felt a lot better because I was moving more down there. I've done about 10,000 steps a day, easy, on each of those days. Even in the day that I was on a train for 9 hours, I still did more than 10,000 steps, which was pretty cool.
Was a nice cake size of a shoebox, says Vaughan.
It wasn't even the fact that it was a big cake. It was
huge.
It wasn't that big. What really, really sold it was the density.
Oh my god.
This was like eating
someone out with this.
This was like eating a part of a neutron star.
Guess what? But guess who didn't have cake? Me and Shalini.
Yeah.
We didn't have cake. And Adam, he didn't have cake.
Yeah. Are we allowed,
Yeah.
are we allowed to mention Adam? Because we cut him out. We had to cut him out the 40.
I don't care.
Yeah,
right?
I don't care either. But
what are people gonna do? Stalk me? I've already got a stalker. So do you, John. Right?
you see, it doesn't matter if I have a stalker because I pay absolutely no attention to them.
You got a stalker, right? We've already got a stalker. We've had a stalker for 5 years.
I don't even know who the. I really don't care.
The guy's critically obsessed. He'll have already been clipping this show out right now. He's hate watching it, probably whilst pleasuring himself at the same time. He always puts comments out. I get shown them by our Adam. And it will say things like, "Who watches this anyway? Who's going to watch this? You,
nobody,
stalker.
Nobody
you
watches it apart from you, the stalker.
You watch it.
That's quite good. Hey, at least you're keeping me going, mate. You're keeping me going. Hang in there. One day we might make it big. You and me together.
You
Stalkers
and me,
unite
together. Emma said, "Oh Ben, you promised you wouldn't tell anyone it's me."
Well, he didn't dox you, actually. To be
no,
fair,
I didn't. You doxed yourself there, Emma.
Yeah, you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and Vaughan says the cake was denser than uranium.
It was denser than lead. That's for sure.
Well, it must have taken some chewing power then.
No, it was good. It was good though.
Oh dear. Right. If anybody wants,
I do have a penchant for raspberry. I do like raspberry.
Right, if anybody wants to join me for part 2 of Father's Day Madness over on my channel, I'll be live in about 10 minutes time, but only for about 45 minutes. So it'll be blitz time, baby, and nothing more.
And with that, it's been great, hasn't it?
For me, yeah.
Yeah, actually.
But has it been great?
We better make sure to go out in the right song here.
Okay, right.
Oh no, it'll be fine. It's been great. For you.
Old Ed stood on the pebbles, the gray sea licking his boots. He had salt in his heavy coat, the red dust in his veins. Talk to the wind like it was an old friend, bringing news from the south across the long blue miles. Oh, Ed the seagull, spread those heavy wings, leave the pier in the rain behind. Go find where your heart stays, under that African star. Hey, under that African star. Kept a jar on the shelf, filled with earth from the plain. Brighton was his walking ground, but the heat was his home. Now the chair is still, the morning tide is high. We see a white bird rising, breaking through the mist. Oh, Ed the seagull, spread those heavy wings, leave the pier in the rain behind. Go find where your heart stays, under that African star. Hey, under that African star. Stomp the floor for the man. Hey, shout his name to the waves. He ain't lost in the deep. He is back in the sun. He is back in the sun. Oh, at the seagull, spread those heavy wings, leave the pier in the rain behind. Go find where your heart stays, under that African star. Hey, under that African star. Across the water, far away. Across the water,